Okay, dear students, today we will start new chapter that is force and laws of motion. See, my dear students, as the name itself suggests, force and laws of motion. We have already done what is motion. Actually, whenever motion is there, it follows a fixed set of rules. First of all, we will be studying that set of rules, but all the rules are directly indirectly related to physical quantity that is force. So we will see what are laws of motion and how each and every law of motion is related to the force. So first of all, let's have a simple definition of force. What is a force? We use force to do any work. We use force to do any work. Most common thing, we use it to do any work. Okay. In another simple language, we can say that any push or pull is called as force. Whenever I push any object, it moves. Whenever I pull any object, it comes towards me. If I push it, it goes away from me. So what is a force? Force, we use it to do any work, and in a simple language, in 8th standard we did it, any push or a pull is called force. See, my dear students, this force is very important. Force always shows some effects. Force always shows some effects. What are those effects? Now we will see what are effects of forces. These are very prominent effects of forces, and we daily anyhow observe these. See, my dear students, if I push anything, okay, one by one we will see. First effect. If there is any object, okay, if I push it, as of now this is at rest. If I push it, means if I give it force, it will change its position. It will come here, okay, or it will come into motion. If I keep on pushing this, or if I am continuously applying the force, it will keep on changing its position. And what is changing position? It is known as motion. It means if I am applying any force, very important, on applying any force, there is effect on body. That is that body will now go from rest to motion. Second important thing, if something is motion, for example, if something is going towards this direction, let's take a bicycle example of a bicycle. If bicycle is going in this direction, okay, it is in motion, and if I pull it towards me, if I get a catch of that cycle and pull it towards me, slowly it will come to rest. So very easily, effect of forces. First effect is that it makes any object from rest to motion go into rest to motion. Second effect is that if I apply force, then reverse of this also happens. That is, if something is motion, it will come into rest. So second effect is motion to rest. Third thing, let's say if any football is there, we all are playing football, and this is slowly going in this direction. I come from backward and hit it in the same direction and hit the ball in the same direction. I will observe that now the speed of the ball increases. This is also the effect of force. Why? My body's leg applied force on this football. So very important, increase in velocity. Increase in velocity. Now say if that ball is coming towards me, okay, I now what happened is that I now caught the catch of that ball and stopped it. Stopped means it was having a speed, and now I decrease the speed to 0, or I decrease the velocity to 0, or for example you can say I am driving a vehicle, any vehicle, car or anything, it is having any speed of 50 kilometer per hour. Okay. Then I applied brakes. What do brakes do is that they apply force on the vehicle opposite in the direction of motion, and slowly that velocity now becomes 20 kilometer per hour. What is the reason? Reason is that I applied the brakes. As I applied the brakes, these brakes, applying brakes means I have given force to the vehicle. Okay. Because of this force, the 50 km per hour speed has decreased to 20 km per hour. So by force, there is decrease in velocity. By force, there is decrease in velocity. See, if we are playing cricket, any bowler throws ball in this direction, any batsman is there, he hit this ball, and now this ball is going in this direction. Before hitting, this was the direction. After hitting, this is the direction. So very important, you can see there is a change in the direction. Why? Because the bat applied a force on the ball. So there is also change in direction. One more important thing, if I am having football and I want to check how much pressure it is having, or it is fully filled with air or not. So what I will do is that by my hands I will try to press it. I will try to press it. Means I want to check the how much air is present in that. So very important. It means I am applying the force. Okay, and I will see that the shape of the football changes like this. So the thing is that it also changes the shape. Changes the shape. And in few cases, especially in gases, as we have already done in the chemistry chapter, it also changes the size. See, my dear students, these are the very important effects of the force: motion, velocity, direction, shape. What is a force, a push or a pull? We can see the effects of a force. What is the effects? Effects: rest to motion to rest, increase in velocity, decrease in velocity, change in direction, and change in the shape or size. These all terms are directly or indirectly related to motion. In motion chapter we studied what? Velocity, rest, motion, acceleration, all these things, and all these things are related to motion. You can see that these all effects are directly or indirectly somehow are related to motion. So what is a force? It is a push or a pull, and whenever force is applied on any body or any object, we can see these effects. Okay. Now we need to understand what is a balanced and what is unbalanced force. See, my dear students, if there is a force, there will be movement. Okay. Balanced and unbalanced forces. See, my dear students, what are balanced and what are unbalanced forces. Let's say there's an object 5 kg, 5 kg. If I apply a force of 10 Newton, very important, unit of force is Newton and we use symbol N. Very important, you must also know formula of force is mass into acceleration, that is M into A. Okay. I am applying a 10 Newton force on this and I am also applying a 10 Newton force on this. What we see is that this body starts moving. What I observe here it is that this body also starts moving. Now what I have done is that I have also applied a 10 Newton force in this direction also. Now there are two forces. Now this body has stopped and it has stopped moving. It is stopped, no motion. Now the question arises, there are two forces, this is force 1 and this is force 2. Even though force is there, even in 10 Newton there was a motion, why even in 20 Newton, this 10 Newton plus this 10 Newton there is no effect? The reason is that, very important my dear students, whenever any body is there, if we want any effect of force, we need to know the resultant force. We must always know the resultant force. What is resultant force? If there is any body, okay, in this direction I have applied force 1, in this direction I have applied force 2, and in this direction I have applied force 3. There are three forces. Overall effect on any object is the sum of all the forces. Very important. Effect of force is shown only and only by the overall sum of forces, and this overall sum of forces is known as resultant force. What is resultant force? Resultant force is sum of all the forces applied on any body. Very important. If this is any body 1, then what is resultant force of body 1? Resultant force will be F1 plus F2 plus F3. Very important. This is the resultant force. Any body will show the effect, and that effect depends on the resultant force. Very important, my dear students. Whenever we do the addition or subtraction of forces, as we all know, force is a vector quantity. Force is a vector quantity. It means we need to consider the direction. If I am taking this direction as positive, I need to take this direction as negative. And if I am taking this direction as negative, if I apply any force in this direction, then I need to take it positive. So very important. Let's come back to this case, that is balanced and unbalanced forces. See my dear students, if I say find out the resultant force, what you will do is that on this body there are two forces, 10 Newton and 10 Newton. Resultant force is sum of both. If I take this direction as positive, I need to take this as negative. So plus 10 Newton plus minus 10 Newton, that is 10 Newton minus 10 Newton equals to 0 Newton. Very important. If sum of all the forces, if sum of all the forces, or if I say resultant force, or if I say resultant forces are 0 or resultant force is 0, such forces are known as balanced forces, and balanced forces does not show any effect of forces. If any object, very important, if any object is having balanced forces, it will not show any effect. See my dear friends, only effect if you can see in the case of balanced forces is change in shape. Is change in shape. That is, if I press any football or if I press any balloon from both the sides, it will just change its shape, but no other effects will be there. Okay? The reason is that I am applying balanced forces. See, in this case, this is moving by. At first, if I say what is resultant force as of now, you will say 10 Newton, only one force is there. If I apply one more force of 5 Newton, again it is in motion. Why? If I say what is effect of these two forces, you have to find out the resultant force. What is resultant force here? 10 Newton. If I take this direction positive, this is also the same direction. 5 Newton is also in the same direction and 10 Newton. So this will also be positive. So 10 plus 5 Newton will give me 15 Newton. Very important. If resultant force is not equal to 0, that is any value, if it is having any value other than 0, such forces are known as unbalanced forces. Very important. Unbalanced forces show the effect. Very important. On any body, we just need to know what is the resultant force. If resultant force is 0, there will be no effect. Such forces are known as balanced forces. And if resultant force is not equal to 0, means it is having any positive integer value, then such forces are known as unbalanced forces. And unbalanced forces show the effects of force. Now, very important thing, my dear students, we just need to know what are the laws of motion. See, my dear student, first of all, we will do the first law of motion. After that, we will understand what is mass and inertia. First of all, we will see the first law of motion. First law of motion. See, my dear students, there are two states of motion. That is, either that body will be in motion, means it is having any speed or it is changing the position, or it is having no motion. Very important. There are two states of motion. Either it is in motion or there is no motion. If it is not in motion, we say it is in rest. So, my dear students, there are two states of motion, that is rest and motion. Means either that thing is moving or either that thing is not moving. Very important. Let's take an example. Okay. If someone is sitting on a bicycle, as of now that bicycle is stationary, it is not moving. So it is in rest state of motion or it is in rest? It is in rest. I am just watching this. By just watching this, can this move? Obviously no. I need to apply a force on this. If I apply a force on this bicycle will start moving and it will come into motion. It was in rest, it will be in rest. Now I applied a force. As I applied a force, there is no more rest and it starts moving, it comes into motion. It comes into motion. So, very important, you just get to know it was in rest. I applied a force, it came into motion. Now this bicycle is in motion. Okay, it is continuously going in motion. I went and pulled it towards me. Or the bicycle was coming, I just grabbed it and did not allow it to move. When I grabbed it, it was coming in this motion. I applied a force in the opposite direction and I stopped it. Okay, so I applied a force now in this motion, this direction, and now this bicycle has came into rest. See, it was in motion, I applied force and it came to rest. From motion to rest, again I also applied the force. Now, very important, in this case, you can see and you must have to understand that this force applied is unbalanced. Unbalanced means if this object is at rest, I am applying force from this direction also in this direction, and if the forces are equal, there will be no effect. But if I am applying force only in one direction, it means resultant force is not zero, it is an unbalanced force. So, if it is an unbalanced force, it is coming from rest to motion. Again, when cycle was coming from this way, I applied force only in, cycle was in this direction, I applied force only in this direction. Means my force was unbalanced. So, again unbalanced force applied here. Very important. From rest to motion, force applied has to be unbalanced. Then only it will come from rest to motion, otherwise not. Balanced force will not make my thing to come from rest to motion. And when it comes from motion to rest, then also the force applied must be unbalanced. My dear students, this is only the first law of motion. What is first law of motion? First law of motion says that if any body is in rest, it will be in rest. If any body is in motion, it will be in motion. If I want to bring that body, or if I want to change the state of motion, or in simple language, if I want to bring that body from rest to motion, or either from motion to rest, I need to apply an unbalanced force. Very important. In simple language, to change the state of motion, an unbalanced unbalanced force needs to be applied on the body, very important. This is your first law of motion. To change the state of motion, an unbalanced force needs to be applied, or to bring any body from rest to motion or motion to rest, unbalanced force needs to be applied. This state of motion will not change. This state of motion will not change if I am not applying this unbalanced force. It means if unbalanced force is not applied, rest body will be in rest. As you can see, TV set at your home since last 1 year, 2 years, it is there only. It is not moving. Why? You have never applied any force on it. But you might have observed the bag, school bag, not nowadays. Even in school times, it daily used to be in motion. Why? You used to pick it up. When you used to pick it up, you used to apply unbalanced force on it, and it used to come in motion. Your TV set, your fridge, your bed, all those things are in rest only. Why? You never applied any unbalanced force on them. The day you will apply an unbalanced force in them, they will come into motion. Okay? So, first law of motion, to change the state of motion, an unbalanced force needs to be applied on the body. Okay, my dear students, why this unbalanced force needs to be applied? Why it is not moving by its own? So very important. For that we need to understand very important term, that is inertia. Now we will see mass and inertia. First of all, I will just give you a hint. What is the inertia? My dear student, inertia, it is a property that it wants to oppose any disturbance. What is inertia? Inertia means opposing disturbance or resisting property. It is a resisting property. All the objects, all the bodies, all the material, each and everything have inertia in them. Means each and everything want to oppose any disturbance. Means each and everything want to be like that as they are. Opposing disturbance or resisting property. So in simple language, if I say what is inertia? Inertia is the property which opposes any change in state of motion. What is inertia? Inertia, it is a resisting property. In which any body resist, or any body opposes change in state of motion. Means this is only the property. That's why your bed is not moving. Why? It is having inertia. This inertia or this property of bed wants that bed to be only in rest. It does not want that bed to move. Now very important, what does inertia depends on? This inertia is directly proportional to the mass of the body. Very important. This inertia is directly proportional to the mass of the body. More is the mass, more will be the inertia. Less is the mass, less is the inertia. No mass, no inertia. First of all, if there is no mass, it means that thing does not exist. Okay. See my dear students, let's take an example. There is a 5 kg material or body and there is a 500 kg body. It is also having mass. It is also having mass. To move this, less force is required, and to move this very large force, let's say here 10 Newton is required and here 1000 Newton is required. This is very more force. Why? The reason is that it is having very large mass. As it is having very large mass, it is having very large inertia. Means its body is opposing. When I am applying force on this body is opposing. This body wants to be in rest only. This body wants to be in rest only. This body also wants to be in rest. But as its mass is less, it does not have that much inertia. Means it does not have that much opposing power, and I very easily push it and move. This 500 kg metal is having a more mass, means more opposing. If I apply more force, then only it can move, otherwise it will not move. Second very important thing, you might have seen, if there is, when we play carom, okay, if and I hit this striker with very much speed, this lowermost point goes and this stack remains disturbed. Why? Because this is having inertia. Very important thing. Many times you might have seen our mothers hitting the clothes. Okay, why? When she hits the cloth, the dust particles are at rest. When she hit the cloth, see this is our cloth. When she hit this, our cloth changes its position. But these dust particles, as dust particles have mass, they have inertia. They would like to get this place only. So our cloth comes here and our dust particle remains here only and they separate out and fall down. Okay, very important. Whenever we are moving in bus, okay, whenever bus is at rest and I am standing, when this bus moves, my legs also starts moving along with bus, but my this body due to inertia wants to be in rest and I get a jerk. Okay, and if this bus is in motion, so my body is also in motion. When the bus applies a brake, I fall in the front side. Why? Because my body is having mass, it is having inertia. Now it wants to be in motion only and it goes in the front. If there is a luggage on the bus and bus is quite in speed, it applies brakes. As this luggage is having motion, it would like to be in motion because of inertia and this luggage falls down. So very important, what is inertia? Inertia is a property which opposes any state in motion. Means if a body is in rest, it wants to be in rest. If a body is in motion, it wants to be in motion. And the reason is the mass. You might have seen when we when we switch off the fan, even though there is no electricity, then also for 15 to 20 seconds it keeps on rotating. Yes or no? The reason is the inertia. That fan is having mass. When you switch it off, it was having a motion. Now it wants to be in motion, because of which it keeps on moving. But because of the friction, it slowly stops now. So this is the concept of mass and inertia. Now we just need to understand momentum. What is momentum? See my dear students, momentum we need to understand so as to understand the second law of motion. What is momentum? Very important. Momentum gives us the power or strength of the motion. Means how much powerful the motion is. Very important. Momentum is denoted by simple P, and the formula of momentum is mass into velocity, that is P equals to mv. Means our momentum is directly proportional to V and is directly proportional to mass. It means we need to memorize the power of motion depends on mass of the body and the power of the body means power of the motion depends on velocity. These two terms, velocity and mass, gives me the hint of the power of any motion. If something is very much in velocity, it is having more power of motion. If something is having a large mass and it is having velocity, then also it is having very much power. For example, is that even a slow train is having a lot of power. We can't stop it with our hand. Why? It is having very large mass. Let's see. For example, we will take two examples. If any body 5 kg, any body 5 kg. Okay. Any body 5 kg and any body bullet. You might have seen bullet is a very small mass. Very small mass. I can very easily move it. If I take the bullet and hit head, like with my hand, it will not show any effect. But if I fire any bullet with gun, this bullet destroys a lot. And if I move this 5 kg with very less velocity, it cannot destroy anything. Whereas this can destroy a lot many things. Why? The reason is that this bullet is having very large velocity. More will the velocity, more will be the momentum. Means it is having more force and more power. If, for another example, if any bicycle is coming with a speed of, let's say, 30 km per hour and it hits you, you will not face any more injuries and it may be that it will not be even mounted. That will come and hit you and you will not even fall. But if there is a train and the train is having just a speed of 5 km per hour and if you come in front of it, it will just make powder of you. You will be fully destroyed. You can't even stop it. Why? The reason is that it is having very large mass. Large mass, more is the mass, more is the momentum. It means momentum depends on both the things. What is the mass of that object and what is its velocity. Very important, when is momentum 0? If velocity equals to 0, so P equals to m into V, so P equals to m into 0. If velocity is 0, momentum is 0 means if any body is in rest, its momentum is 0 means it does not have any power. It does not have any power. You might have seen if there are any boxing champions, they try to increase the speed and then only they hit. It does not, they never keep their hand like in rest only to hit anyone. Why? If their hand will be in rest, there will be no power in their motion. So they try to increase the speed a lot and then they hit it. Because when they are having high velocity, the momentum is more and the power in their motion is more. So very important, what is momentum? Momentum is power of the strength of the motion. Momentum is mass of that body into velocity of that body. Momentum will be 0 if that body is in rest, means if that body is having velocity 0. If I say momentum is also 0 when mass is 0, yes, but such thing does not exist. Anything having mass equals to 0 means that thing does not exist in physics. Okay, my dear students, we also need to know the unit of momentum. What is unit of momentum? Momentum is mass into velocity. Mass into velocity. What is unit of mass? It's kg. And what is unit of velocity? It's meter per second. So unit of momentum is kg meter per second. Very important. This is the unit of momentum. You need to, in physics, if you are seeing or going through any new physical quantity, you just need to know its properties and most importantly, you just need to know its unit. Okay. So now we will see second law of motion. What does the second law of motion state? take case 1, case 2, case 3. Same body, 5 kg, 5 kg, 5 kg. As of now, this is having velocity 0, it is in rest. Yes, as it is in rest, here its momentum is 0. I haven't applied any force. I haven't applied any force means force is 0. After 2 hours also, it is in rest and its momentum is 0. You can see if I does not apply any force, the momentum will be 0 only, means there is no change, no force, no change in momentum. Why? Momentum is continuously 0 only. In second case, let's see. This is having initial velocity I will take. This is having initial velocity 0. As it is having velocity 0, the momentum here is 0. Then I applied a force of 20 Newton. When I applied the force, it got a speed of 10 km per hour. Now it is having speed of 10 km per hour and its momentum, its weight will be same. Now what is momentum in this case? Momentum is mass into velocity. So momentum is 50 kg per kilometer per hour. Now its momentum is 50. Before this, its momentum was 0. So very important. Force is there. Yes. As I applied force, there has been a change in momentum. How? From 0 to it became 50 means there is a change. It changed from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and came to 50. Force is there. Yes, I observed change in momentum is there. Change in momentum is there. And if I say how much change is there, change means final momentum minus initial momentum, that is 50 minus 0. So here it is change is of 50. Now very important. If I applied a force of 1000 Newton, this is very large force. Here it was of only 20 Newton, here it is of 1000 Newton, and very all of a sudden this got a speed of 100 km per hour. As I applied a large force, very easily it soon got the speed of 100 km per hour and the weight will be the same, mass will be the same, that is 5 kg. Here it was in rest, so its momentum is 0 and here its momentum is 5 into 100, that is 500. You can observe I applied large force. There is a change in momentum, but that change is also very large. Here it was only 50 from 0 to 50. Here it is from 0 to 500. Large is the force. Large is change in momentum, or I must use a word. Greater is the change in momentum. Greater is change in momentum, and here the change is of 500. So very important. As you can see, if there is no force applied, there will be no change in momentum of that body. If force is applied, there will be a change in momentum. If large or more force is applied, there will be more or greater change in momentum. It means somewhere this momentum and force are related. So this is only the second law of motion. What is the statement of second law of motion is that the change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. Means if force is 0, momentum is 0. If force applied is more change in momentum will be there. This change in momentum, very important, the word must be used, which is change. Change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. If the force is zero, no momentum. If the force applied is more, the change in momentum is large. If the force applied is less, change in momentum is less. If the force applied is very very large, large momentum will be there, change in momentum. For example, if there is Bajaj CD100, or there is one side there is Royal Enfield. As you know, the Royal Enfield is having more powerful engine. So when we start, it very easily gets a speed of 80 km per hour, 100 km per hour. But if you are having any 100cc bike, then it will take a lot of time to get it. Why? Because it is not having that force. More is the force, more is the change in momentum. So this is our statement. This is our statement. What is the statement for change in momentum? Sorry, second law states that change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. In statement, it states that change in momentum. Change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. Moreover, in more standardized way, we can write that rate of force applied is directly proportional, or change in momentum is directly proportional to the rate of force applied. या फिर change in momentum is equal to the rate of force applied. Let's see what does this want to say. Momentum. What is momentum? Momentum is mass into velocity. Now we will see how the change in momentum is equal to the rate of force applied. So very important, see my dear students. Here is there any body V1. It is having any velocity u. If I applied a force, its velocity changed, increased or decreased, whatever you want to take it. Now my body is having velocity v. Here the mass of the body is m, here it will be also m. So initially the momentum was m into u, that is mu, and finally the mass pf, that is potential, finally is mass into velocity. Now what is change in momentum? What is change in momentum? Change in momentum is final momentum minus initial momentum equals to P final minus P initial. So what is final? M into V minus what is initial? M into U. This is my change in momentum. Here it must be rate in change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum is equal to the force applied. See, this is mv minus mu, this is change in momentum. Now if I want to find out rate in change of momentum, to find out the rate in change of momentum, I need to divide it by t. So this is rate of change of momentum, that is mv minus mu upon t. If I take m common here, it will become m into v minus u upon t. Very important. V minus u upon t equals to acceleration. We have done it in first chapter. So at this value I put a. So rate of change of momentum is equals to m into a. What is m into a? It is force. Mass into acceleration is force. So very important. Rate of change of momentum p by t is equal to the force applied. Very important, my dear students, you must know this. Change in momentum, or you can write del P. What does this del mean? Del means change. Change in momentum upon time equals to the force applied. This is our second law of motion and it is the derivation of it. You must know, more will be the force applied, more will be the change in momentum. Less is the force applied, less will be the change in momentum. No force applied, no change in momentum. See, my dear student, now we need to understand basically there is a conservation of momentum. This conservation of momentum we will be doing after third law of motion. See, my dear student, even the first law of motion is also related to second law of motion. What we did in first law of motion is that if there is any body, if it is in rest and I don't apply any force, it will be in rest. Now let's see why. As we all know, rate of change of momentum is equal to the force applied. Yes or no? By second law. Rate of change of momentum, okay, is equal to the force applied. It means if we do not apply any force, there will be no change in momentum. Let's write this in numerical value. That is, what is change in momentum is mv, that is final momentum minus initial momentum upon time equals to force applied. If I does not apply any force, if F equals to 0, अगर force apply नहीं होगा, if F equals to 0, then mv minus mu upon t equals to 0. This is the condition I am applying here. Now this t will come here and it will multiply, it will also become 0, 0 into t will be 0. So mv from here it will become mv minus mu equals to 0. Okay, taking the m common, m v minus u equals to 0. If m goes there, it will again become 0. So v minus u equals to 0. And now if go v, u goes that side, v equals to u. Very important, my dear students. If there is no force applied, it means there will be no change in velocity. Means the final velocity will be equal to initial velocity. Very important. This, what does this say? If f equals to 0, final velocity equals to initial velocity, means there will be no change. Means if initial velocity is 0, final velocity will also be 0. Means if something is in rest, it will remain in rest. If force is 0. Very simple. So this is the derivation of first law of motion by second law of motion. Means if force is 0, there will be no change in velocity. If velocity is 10 km per hour, it will remain in 10 km per hour. Final velocity will remain same. If I want to change this, I have to change this, means my force must not be equal to 0. Okay, my dear student, now we will see third law of motion. What does third law of motion state? In third law of motion, dear students, two bodies are there. This is body V1 and this is body V2. What does this say is that if this body V1, this is now third law of motion. What does this state is that if this is body V1 and this body is applying any force F1 to this body. Let's say this force is action force. The force first applied is known as action force. Okay. if this body applies any force F1 on this body, then when this force is being applied, this body will, V2 will also apply a force F2 on V1. And this force V2 is known as reaction. Very important. This is a compulsory situation. If any body V1 applies any force F1 on body V2, then for sure this body V2 will also apply a force on this body V1. Now very important, these both the forces F1 and F2 will be equal. Means the force applied by body V1, then body V2 will also apply force, but this force will be equal. But as you can see, the action or F1 force is in this direction, then the V2 or this force will be in opposite direction. So F1 will be equal to minus F2. So very important. What does this body say? To every and equal action there is equal and opposite reaction. That is, to every action, to every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. There is opposite and equal reaction. Very important. The thing to understand. If there is a body V1 and we apply 10 Newton force action on it and I get another force 10 Newton, so there will be no motion. My dear student, you just need to get it. Here it is only single body, and third law of motion always two bodies needs to be considered. There are always two bodies in this case, so you don't need to confuse yourself. The overall effect must be zero. No, if overall effect is always seen on a single body, single object, and you can see there are two objects. This B2 is facing F1 force and this V1 is facing F2 force. Okay, you need to think these F1 and F2 are not applying on the same body. Two different bodies are there. So very important. Third to explain that if any body applies any force to another body, the force first applied is known as action. Then the another body will give another same but opposite in direction force to the body which applied the force. Means to every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. Let's see examples of this. Very important. While you are walking, you apply a force backward from your legs. You apply a force on the body, that is road. Okay, you apply force in this direction. Now this road applies a force as a reaction on your body and you start moving in this direction. Now the question arises, sir, why the rod is not moving? Your force is not that much powerful that it can move the road. But the force applied again, that is reaction by the road, is enough to move you. Another example is when you are sitting in a boat, okay, you move this thing which we used to move, that this is known as row, okay, or bow. When you move this in sea, here it is water, okay, you push the water backward, means you are applying action force F1 on the water. Now this water again applies force on your body, that is the boat, F2, but in the opposite direction, and your boat starts moving. So there is always two bodies. Here it is water and boat, here it is road and you. So very important, to every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. See my dear student, now there is a law of conservation. We will see this law of conservation by using third law of motion. What is law of conservation states? Law of conservation says that momentum, or law of conservation is conservation of momentum. Now we will see conservation of momentum. Conserved means same. See my dear student, this conservation momentum says that momentum is neither destroyed nor created, means it remains same. But for that, first of all, we need to see the condition. Just for example, it is considered always with the two bodies. If there are two bodies, body B1 and body B2. What is the case saying that if this body B1 is having any momentum P1, very important, these both the bodies are not in rest. Why? If these will be in rest, the momentum will be zero. So we don't need to consider that case. If these two bodies are in motion, means this body B1 is having P1 momentum and this body B2 is having P2 momentum. Now what this law want to say is that, law of conservation of momentum want to say is that if these two bodies are not affected by any external force, then this momentum of these two bodies always remains same. It will never be lost. Means even if these two bodies collide with each other, whatever happens, but overall this momentum P1 and P2 means P1 plus P2 will be same always. Or you can say, if these two bodies collide with each other, then the momentum before collision will be after the same after the collision. No effect in momentum. We will take an example of this. Okay. What does conservation of momentum says is that momentum neither destroyed or not created. It always remains same. We will take an example. Let's take any two bodies B1 and B2. Let's take any two body B1 and B2. Body B1, body B2. Okay, this body B1 is having an initial velocity U1 and this body is having any initial velocity U2. As this is having velocity, for sure this will also have momentum P1 and this will also have momentum P2. No external force is there. Let's say these two bodies collide. These two bodies collide, comes in contact. If one body is moving, this body is moving, they hit each other. When they hit each other, this is body B1, this is body B2, and this is collision. After collision, again this separate body B1, body B2. Now there is a change in velocity. Now this velocity from U1 becomes V1 and this velocity from U2 becomes V2. Very important. Let's say mass of this is M1, mass of this is M2. Mass will for sure remain the same, M1, M2. Now what this law want to say is that the momentum before collision will be equal to momentum after collision. Means momentum does not change. Even if there was an exchange of forces, these two bodies came in contact. Now let's see how. I will just prove that. Let us say it is momentum here P1 is M1 into U1 and this body is having M2 into U2. Okay, this is before collision and after collision this body is having momentum M1 into V1 and this is having M2 into V2. If I add this, that is M1 plus U1, this momentum, plus M2 plus U2, that is this momentum. This is overall momentum before collision. And if I add this M1 V1, this momentum plus M2 V2, this momentum, this is overall momentum after collision. Now we have to prove that these two momentums are equal. If we prove that these two momentums are equal, we will prove that momentum is not lost anywhere. Overall it is same. See, when this body, let's take an example, this body B2 is moving and B1 is having higher velocity, it goes and hit it and then velocity is changed. When this B1 hit this one, any force F1 is applied in this direction. So what is this force? Force is mass into acceleration. that is mass of this body v1 is m1 into what is acceleration, that is change in velocity. How much is the change in velocity? After collision it is having velocity v1 and before collision it was having velocity u1. So v1 minus u1 is change in velocity upon time taken t. Acceleration is v1 minus u1 upon t. As soon as this F1 applies a force on body V2, this also gives a reaction back to this. Okay, that is F2. What is F2? Again, F2 is mass into acceleration. But this F2 is applied by body V2. Here this is applied by body M1. So this one is M1 into A. This will be M2 into A. That is M2 into what is acceleration? Acceleration is change in velocity upon time. What is change in velocity? V2 minus U2. V2 minus U2 upon t. After collision, the velocity is V2. Before collision, it was U2. This is only the change upon t. So these two forces, that is action and reaction, are here. Now, as we know by the third law of motion, this F1 is equals to minus of F2. Action is equal to reaction, but opposite in direction. Now I put the values. That is, what is F1? F1 is M1 bracket V1 minus U1 upon T equals to what is F2? That is M2 into V2 minus U2 upon T. But opposite in direction, that's why I am putting minus. You can put either minus in any of them. If you take this positive, you need to take this negative. Now this T gets cancelled. Now it is M1 bracket V1 minus U1 equals to minus of M2 bracket V2 minus U2. Now let's open the bracket. M1 into V1 is M1 V1. M1 into minus U1 is minus M1 U1 equals to minus of M2 into V2 is minus M2 V2. Minus minus will become plus, M2 into U2 will be M2 U2. Let's bring initial velocities in one side and final velocities in one side. Okay. I am taking this minus M1 U1 this side and this minus M2 V2 this side. See, this one is, I am writing this side. This one is M1 V1. This I have taken that side, and this minus M2 V2 I have taken this side. So this will become plus M2 V2. As I have taken this minus M1 U1 this side, this will become plus, that is M1 U1. If I write plus or don't write, the same will be same, plus M2 U2. Now very important, M1 U1 plus M2 U2. M1 U1 plus M2 U2. What is this? Momentum before collision. And M1 V1 plus M2 V2. M1 V1 plus M2 V2. What is this? Momentum after collision. So we have seen that momentum after collision is equals to momentum before collision. Very important. See, now you can see overall momentum is same. Let me explain in simple language. What are this conservation momentum is said? If these two bodies are moving, whatever speed, this is also having momentum, this is also having momentum. This is having more velocity, this is having less velocity. What happens? This comes and hit this. Now this body's velocity increases and this decreases. Why? It was having a momentum, it is also having momentum. When this hit it, momentum of this shifts into this and this velocity increases. Okay, and as this has given momentum to this, its momentum decreases. So the overall momentum is same. This momentum gets lesser, but this momentum increases. So the overall of these two momentum is same. This is only what the conservation momentum wants to say. It states that momentum before collision and after collision is same, means in two bodies overall momentum is conserved until and unless there is no external force applied. So okay dear students, this was your laws, force and laws of motion. So our chapter is over.